can tell from a name, Katie?
I think you can tell a great deal from a name. You know, for me, there's certain names that I hear and I think, ooh, and it's associated, ultimately it comes down to the mum or the dad, because they're the ones that gave them the child the name. But when I hear screeched across the playground, you know, Tyler, come back here. You know, that's the Tylers, the Charmaines, the Chantels, the Chardonnay. And for me, that summarised everything. A name for me is a shortcut. It's a really efficient way of working out what class that child comes from. Do I want my children to play with them?
And why would you say, so if you then, from that, you go, OK, well, they're in a lower class than I am, why do you then not want your child to be...
Because associated with that isn't just about class holes, it's about the fact that they probably haven't done their homework. When my daughter comes home from school, she'll say, oh, Tyler was a real pain today, let's say, because he threw his books across the class and the teacher had to lose her patience. There's a whole set of things that go with children like that are quite a disruptive influence in school, and that's why I don't like those kind of children. A fat tax for fat flyers. I have to pay for my 20 kilograms of luggage on cheap, crappy flight and airlines, yes. When some fat chubster just up the aisle from me, I'm gesturing now in this direction, I think that might be more tactful, doesn't have to pay anything to get on board that plane, when quite clearly they are carrying more cumulative luggage. And I think when you check in, you should weigh in. You, ma'am, you're slim, good-looking, intelligent. You can fly for maybe free, whereas gesturing wildly in any direction so that no one feels victimised, you, my chubster friend, are going to have to pay. So my rule is really a fat tax for a fat flyer. What do you think, Gems?
Do you know what, Katie? No, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. You have got a point.
And Katie, you are extremely rude. We're the alternative in the mainstream society. You're totally prejudiced towards tattooed people.
Why? What? Because I'm a plain skin?
No, that's what happens to us. People instantly make the judgment.
That's because your
like
face is coloured, the sort of colour of a first-class stamp, my chicken.
The reason why I've done that, though, is because I want to be body art. My name is body art. I've been on this journey from the age 9.
Your name's what your mum called you. What did your mum call you? What did your mum call you?
Bart is B, art, capital B, capital A for art.
Did your mum
because I'm being art in my life. I changed my name legally.
What did your mum...
And the reason... Katie, you're not listening as per normal. I changed my name to body art.
I'm asking you a straight question. What's your name? You can't tell me your birth name.
I've got lots of different tattoo work on my body, and it's just people like yourself, Katie, that just don't like them, basically.
I think she likes them. She's just trying to wind us up.
I totally disagree with that. The only thing you can do to stand out in life is colour your whole face in. That just makes you a kid with a crayon book.
If one of your...
realise where you're going with this.
How did you get this big?
This is actually to do with a hate crime.
And you're perpetuating hate crime?
Absolutely.
And
can we call the police?
Would
you like to bring the police in?
There's a telephone right there.
I think we should do it right now.
Go for it. There's a phone.
Great. But I have my phone and we'll call the police.
Would you like it brought to you? Because it's probably going to be hard to
walk
there.
I just find it...
Yeah. It became personally offensive, and I believe it is a hate crime, and I'd like to report it.
You think he's going to win?
I think he's going to win. I think you guys are in for a big surprise, which I'm quite excited about. I think we've seen a very similar thing here in the UK with Brexit. We saw a lot of the liberal press kind of sneering at Brexiteers. We saw a lot of the sneering that we see from the Clinton News Network, and I think it's something we
That's CNN. You're calling us the Clinton News Network.
That's exactly correct. And
why? Why do you call us the Clinton News Network?
Because
when we prominently featured a Florida poll that showed Donald Trump had a couple of points lead.
And earlier on this evening on Twitter, you were telling me, Hillary Clinton has a 12-point lead, and now you're having to look at Florida polls showing a 2-point lead.
But those are two different...
very hard for you.
They're entirely different things. One is a national poll that showed she had... One poll that showed she had a 12-point lead, others show a 9-point lead. Nationally, she's been ahead for weeks.
I think we're all very bored of the polls. I think none of us need to take any notice of them whatsoever. We learnt that in the UK with Brexit. We learnt it indeed with our general election. What I will say, having sat in the Republican convention in Cleveland and watched your news network, it is entirely biased, I think, in coverage. And I think Trump's doing a great job. And I think what we saw today from him opening that hotel was a super thing.
Because you keep making these accusations, and quite frankly, you cannot back them up.
Because you just said, I'll just
just give you an example
You just
straight.
cannot back them up, not in airtime, not in how
I will give you an
often we-
example straight off
If
the
you
bat
would
of
just
what you've
let
just
me-
said. No, I won't let you finish because I want to answer
if
your
you would just-
question.
No,
you
but
said I
you
can't back them up. I'm
You
going
can't
to
go
back them
ahead
up.
and back them up then,
Thank
because
you.
I've worked
I'm
here
gonna back them
18
up.
years, and I can tell
If
you
you
there
hush,
is
I'll back
nothing
them up.
but balance in
So
how
you
we
were just
cover
saying
presidential
how
candidates.
Trump really struggles with women. You guys seem to love to present us women, and I am vaguely a woman, as victims. I don't see myself as a victim. Many women, hard-working women, don't see themselves as victims. And we could also look at other polls that say 70% of individuals find Clinton to be utterly distasteful. I find
By the
her
way-
abhorrent to look at. Her little smile there does nothing for me. So
But
as a
Katie
woman,
Hopkins,
I
nobody's
don't
saying
like her.
everybody loves Hillary Clinton.
But
Far
I think
from
you
it.
just did. Women, you
Absolutely
said
not.
women love Hillary. Women do not love Hillary
I never
Clinton.
Okay, let's bring in Katie Hopkins. Katie, you've been a victim of online abuse as well. Do you think we need tougher laws?
No, and I absolutely, I push back on this term victim. I don't see myself as a victim at all. Look, Twitter's there for people that want to use it. If you don't like it, get off Twitter. It is only vanity that makes people read the damn thing until their eyes fall out of their head. And Sonia and others going running to the police, I have simply no time for it whatsoever. The police currently don't have time nor the manpower to visit people that have their garages broken into or their cars broken into. I really don't think the boys in blue need to be worrying about a couple of boys who still live at home with their mums, who floss their teeth with their toenails, writing a few nasty things. For me, I'm pretty much man enough to get over that myself.
Katie,
I'm not worried at all.
As usual, the thing is, Katie, the reason you would get trolled is because
usual,
you are a
you're
media...
shouting.
You're a media troll, though, Katie. That's why you'd get trolled. Now, one of the reasons that I got trolled was because I stood up against paedophilia. And when people tweet you and say, I know where you live and I'm going to come and murder you, that's a big difference to somebody saying, Katie Hopkins, you're a pain, we don't like you, you've got a big nose, or whatever they say to you. There's a big difference
Sonia?
between that.
Sonia,
Yes? Feel
let
free
me
to jump
read
in.
you one of the tweets I had this morning.
Go on.
1 second. I'm going to read you something I had this morning. I'm going to come to your house, tie you down and murder your children while you're watching. Now, I had that this
Disgusting,
morning,
Katie.
Sonia, so do not dismiss the tweets I get and assume you know better. You don't know better, but I am man enough to deal with this stuff, and I enjoy the fact Twitter
This is
is
a
there.
nonsense.
Yes, it's blunt, but
No,
if you want
Katie,
polite,
you
go and
deal
dress
with
in a
people.
dress and go to a tea party.
Katie, you deal with people
keep
who
saying
I
Katie,
do,
I'm listening.
who are on the verge
Sonia,
of
please don't keep
suicide.
saying my name
Katie,
3 times.
talking over me doesn't solve the problem. We have a real issue here, and we are in danger because of media loudmouths like you of not dealing with it appropriately. And what we need to do is we need to define what trolling is, okay? And trolling is not freedom of speech. Just because somebody says, for example, I don't agree with that official story, that's not trolling. So the media already do not understand what trolling is, okay? But it doesn't help when somebody like you in a position that you're in says it's okay for somebody to send you that kind of tweet. That is totally unacceptable.
Yeah, it's okay. Sonia, it's okay. Sonia, I'm not worried about the trolls. I'm more worried about the knackered old goats going over the bridge that can't handle it. Frankly, if you don't like the forum, get off it. Our police have better things to be doing, and I'm sure our taxpayers don't want to be going out there spending their hard-earned money on police coming around to deal with problems for small women like you.
You're doing a documentary, aren't you, about putting weight on?
Yeah, so I put on 4 stone to prove that, you're not lucky to be skinny.
When you're going to lose it?
If you eat too...
That's why people think you're a bastard.
I think we've got a picture of you. There you are. Oh, that's you now. Why are you doing it?
To prove that skinny people aren't lucky to be skinny. They just move around a lot, and that fat people are, in fact, lazy.
But what about people's different metabolisms?
Exactly.
People have excuses all over the place, like, I've got big bones.
Yeah.
And they haven't.
Yeah, but people have different metabolisms, that's what I'm saying.
Well, if your metabolism is really slow, then maybe you need to shove less in this end so that you don't get fat.
I think this is just pure hatred. And there is no room for hatred in this society, I don't think, anymore. In that video, you've just said you'd let that guy off because he was fit and healthy.
Yeah.
If a fat person weighs the same as him, and then you let him off because he's fit and the other person, that's then just hatred. And I think that's wrong.
No, let's be
and
really
also,
clear.
it doesn't give fat people an incentive to lose weight. What it means is then thin people have a privilege to fly, and other people don't. My grandmother is fat, and half the year she spends here and half the year she spends in Africa. Now, I do not expect my 80-year-old grandma with arthritis and glaucoma to start trying to lose weight. I really, really don't.
Yeah.
I'd rather have her for another 10 years than her going on a diet. So then you're basically penalising somebody who isn't in a position to lose weight.
Ultimately, darling, I have no hate. I have no hate. I have no hate.
No, you do. You clearly do.
Listen, darling, I look for the best in
clearly
everyone.
do.
It's just that I so seldom find it.
And you're looking in the wrong places.
I'm looking
and
at you right now. No, there is nothing but love in this studio.
No, and seriously,
and
you
nothing
don't.
but love
Also,
for my
you
rules.
don't know what people's stories are. Forget about the medical side.
I'm not
you don't
interested
know
in
what
their
people's stories are.
No, I haven't got time. I haven't got time for your stories. I'm going to look at you, make a quick assessment.
Yes, because you don't want to hear my. You don't even want to hear my argument.
No, I don't.
I'm
Because
about
you're
to
just
shut you
raging.
down.